Today, November the 29th, 2024, marks 100 years to the day that the late great legendary Italian Verismo composer Giacomo Puccini passed away. Join me on this special episode of the Voice Detective Show dedicated to him as I go on the trail of his life from his native town of Lucca in northern Italy to Torre del Lago, where he spent the prime of his life and where he created opera masterpieces like Madama Butterfly. In the process, I'll show you a great disability accessibility gear I came across on the journey. Welcome to the Voice Detective Show. I'm your host, Guionline, aka the Voice Detective. Today we have a special edition of the show to commemorate this man over here, Giacomo Puccini. So let's get started. Welcome to the Giacomo Puccini Villa in Torre del Lago. This is where Giacomo lived from 1900 to 1921. It's a truly spectacular place. And today, Torre del Lago organizes an annual Puccini Opera Festival next to the villa. Come with me now, and I'll show you his studio. This is where Giacomo composed his music, often at night. Truly glorious music. And this is the entrance to the family chapel where Giacomo is buried along with his son and wife. So how did Giacomo Puccini end up in Torre del Lago? To find out, I'm meeting Simonetta Bigongiari, the director of the Giacomo Puccini Birthhouse Museum in Lucca. Enjoying the video so far? Hit the subscribe button below for notifications of future videos. Done it? Cheers! Now back to the show.
Buongiorno, Gian. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Simonetta Bigongiari. I'm the director of Puccini Museum.
Beautiful.
And we are very glad to welcome you in our museum.
Thank you.
So about the young Giacomo. Okay. Giacomo started when he was a very young boy to play music with his father, and then when his father died, to help the family, he used to play organ in the church.
Yeah. You could maybe elaborate on Giacomo's family heritage of a family of Kapellmeisters.
They were the Maestro della Cattedrale and also Maestro of the civil music part of the town, because they were first with the Republic of Lucca, and then Granducato, and then the small period with Napoleon's sister, Elisa. And then his father became the director of the Musical Institute. So there were sort of monopolio in town for music. And Giacomo started with organ in the churches, like his ancestor. And when his father died, he was due to take his profession. The brother of his mother was a teacher, so he started to study with his uncle. But then he also played piano just to make money, no? And there is the story of this Puccini going to Pisa to see Aida on foot. Maybe one going to Pisa by train and coming back for food, all on foot. But seeing this, he had already seen operas in the Teatro in Giglio here, but maybe Pisa, the theater is bigger, and Aida was something very new. So it was he realized what he wanted to do in his life. You can imagine him coming back, Mamma, voglio fare l'opera.
Yes. Now, for our disability audience, I have a treat for you. You think you can't see the Puccini Birthhouse Museum in Lucca? Think again. I'm in the Giacomo Puccini birthhouse. Giacomo would be really impressed by the latest innovation.
The Puccini family comes from a small village here around Lucca, where there is another small museum in their native house.
Which village is it? What is the name of this village?
Celle.
Celle.
Celle di Pescaglia, now Celle dei Puccini, from Celle to Lucca. And
So was that Giacomo's great-grandfather, or?
yes, he's the great-grandfather, and the great-great-grandfather.
Ah, okay, great.
This is the great-grandfather.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have, this is Giacomo Senior, Antonio, his son, and then they have, the family was Domenico, Giacomo, Antonio, Domenico, who was the grandfather. And then we have Michele, the father, who is that cluster there, and then Giacomo. So 5 generations. And when Giacomo was born, after 5 sisters, the father was waiting for a boy. He had the name of all the ancestors: Giacomo, Antonio, Domenico, Michele the second,
Yes.
Maria for the because it was this most weighted boy, so they gave the name of the Madonna, Maria, so secondo Maria. He participated to this concours for Le Villi. He didn't win at all. But in the jury, it was Ponchielli, who was one of his teachers, and introduced him to Giulio Ricordi, who was the most important publisher for music in Italy. So Ricordi understood that Giacomo was a good matter for his for his scuderia, we say in Italian, like 4 horses, when you grow up horses. And they put together money to give Le Villi at Teatro dal Verme in Milan. And then Giulio Ricordi gave him a contract for the second opera, was Edgar. So here we show libretti and scores, all the operas that are connected to Casa Ricordi. And you see there are letters with Ferdinando Fontana, who was the librettista of Le Villi and Edgar, and a letter to Giulio Ricordi. And then we have other librettos or abbozzi, draft of librettos and scores and scenery. And in the other case, there are these postcards
Ah, yes.
printed by Ricordi, because Ricordi also have a graphic firm.
Yes.
So they used to do all these decorations and, for marketing.
Yes.
And so they began to print scores, librettos, and these nice postcards, for the first performance, or these were 12 postcards telling the story.
So when Giacomo composed his music, did he have to see the scenery before he composed the music?
He has to imagine in his mind what is happening on the stage. So we have these letters asking the librettistas, please send the libretto, because he needed the libretto to go on with the music.
Mm.
And he was very, pignolo, very precise with librettisti for the captions.
Mm.
If you see especially La Bohème, but also La Fanciulla del West, he wrote captions.
Mm.
In the draft, but also in the music.
Mm.
In the full score, you find sometimes he make correction or modified music, but also captions. When you read a libretto from especially those from Illica Giacosa, you see they are very precise. They say what singers must do on the scene, and the music is strictly connected with these movements.
How was Giacomo with singers? Was he very strict? Was he very encouraging?
It depends. Before the opera started, he, in many letters, he discussed about singers and conductors more than singers with Casaricordi, because Casaricordi was not only the publisher, but often was the impresario, so they sold the opera, no? And Puccini wanted that the opera, especially in big cities or in Lucca, when the opera came to Lucca, it was very he wanted that everything was perfect in his town, but also, of course, in London and Paris, no? So usually he traveled to the town and followed the rehearsal and tried to put together what he liked. But sometimes he could not. So he wrote letters telling, I don't like that singer, but, in Paris, the wife of the owner of the theater is singing, so I cannot tell, she's not what he liked, but on the contrary, sometimes he was very happy. For example, we have letters to the soprano who sang Manon Lescaut in Lucca, and he wrote her telling that she was very nice, and he liked it very much. So it was, he had to mediate between people.
Mm.
So, but in the letters, he said what he thinks, especially when he writes to the wife or the son, or someone in Casaricordi.
What kind of personality was Giacomo? Was he a happy person? Was he a depressed kind of person?